Hello, Comp students. I hope that you are feeling ready to start this next week of more intensive writing. We're going to go ahead and check out the syllabus and see where this puts us, and then take a tour of the classroom to find that work. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the readings this week. I thought there were some interesting items in there. I get to choose among the essays in the text, but I don't get to choose the textbooks. So I thought they did a pretty good job with selecting uh, different things to read there, that different topics, and some of them may have struck you as more interesting than others. Remember this week that we're working on the illustration essay, and there's two basic things we need to focus on. Two assignments rather. The first one is the peer editing, and as per usual, just send in all or part of your essay and ask for specific advice if you have something in specific in mind, and of course, you can also ask for general help as well. On your final draft, you will turn just that into just me, and I'd ask that you turn the feedback form in with that. The feedback form can be added to that bottom of the paper, or it can be copied and pasted into that Dropbox space that you can write notes to me in. Either way is fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and find where all this stuff is and what's going on in the classroom and kind of walk through it. This paper is a little bit different because, like I said before, there's going to be, you're using more than one source, which is a new level of challenge. It's something you've done before as a writer, but what I want to especially focus on is the concept of illustration and how illustration enhances and creates a voice and texture and support for a paper, as well as how you can use materials from two different sources to synthesize. What I don't want for this paper is two separate summary responses. Here's what this source said, here's what this source said. What I want you to think of it more as is an integration. It's sort of like multitasking, but not quite. It's sort of like this. When you synthesize different ingredients. I've just been baking this morning because my son has a cross-country meet and I get to be the cookie mom. So I was baking chocolate chip cookies, and I've got the butter and I've got the eggs and the flour and the chocolate chips and the sugars, right? Each of those ingredients in and of themselves contribute to the overall outcome of that cookie and the texture of it, and how, the way it puffs up or flattens out and all that kind of thing. And when I synthesize those ingredients, they don't just scream butter, they don't scream sugar, but you know that they're there. And that's sort of what synthesis is in writing. You can have a dominant flavor like chocolate chips, that you use that chocolate chip argument from the chocolate chip source, and that becomes a major voice in your paper. But sometimes other more subtle flavors are going to come up from other arguments. There are some very obvious complementary arguments in this particular packaging of arguments. Others are less obvious, but I've seen some really good papers. Remember, as you're choosing your pair, that first of all, the pair does not have to agree with one another. The pair of articles does not have to agree with one another, and you don't have to agree with either of them. Your argument can be something completely different. You could say that both articles are saying something that you disagree with, or you could say one article says this, one article says this, but you say this. It gets a little complicated, but I know you can do it. So, here's some extra little helps and things as along the way. For this assignment, you may want to back up to the readings and the discussion board, because I think I may do a little bit of laying out of the concept here. Okay, this is just defining the prompt a little bit. And nope, didn't find what I was looking for. Sorry. Move on to the next document. Okay, here we go. This is the one I wanted, of course. Okay, I love Calvin and Hobbes. Please enjoy this later. I think I would start here. I know I would. Start with your thesis. Your thesis can imitate an argument, or be this echo an argument, or be the same as an argument that you read. For example, you read about from Amy Tan, and you read her position on language and what is clear communication and discrimination that goes with language, okay? You could talk about, you could agree with her completely and add another source, or you can create your own argument that those sources support. Please do not use any other argument from any other source. Use these arguments and the ones that you know in your head. Okay. And this is mostly just a rundown of the usual. I didn't put anything too extra in here, but please do start with a thesis statement and then go into building topic sentences. Rather than using the sources to lead your paragraphs, use your ideas to lead your paragraphs and the sources as the legs of the table. Otherwise, your table's sort of upside down and it's a little bit awkward. Introduction and conclusion, we're thinking you guys have been doing a great job on this, but just as a review of what that is, and then obviously editing and revising. These are some tips on whether or not you, or tips on ways to elaborate. Okay. Next page is the feedback form. And I tried to remind you of that, and you can again just copy and paste this form and that's fine. I do want all of it all the way down to here. I'll fill out all of this part and you'll fill out the top part, and you can put that, like I said, directly onto the board or not, onto the Dropbox or not. Okay, in resources, I've mentioned this the other day. There we go. This is what I want to find. Do you see this synthesis resource page? This may give you some ideas of how to organize this essay, and I took this from another document. And so this is the thing I thought I had in the actual course content that I've been searching for here for a minute. But this tells you an outline that you could follow, and this is indeed a way that you can also even give feedback to other people's writing that has to do with synthesis. So that's in your course resources along with the MLA cheat sheet and a few other things. So underneath course content in resources is where you can find that document. I'm looking forward to reading your writing this week. This is a bit of a more challenging piece of writing, but I know it's something you've done before. We're just trying to raise our intentionality in how we do it. And I'm sure you'll do well. Have a great week and let me know if you need anything.